But it was already too late, as Carlos seemed to be deeply in love with Nnuego even without seeing her in person. Once upon a time, in a remote village sitting in the heart of Asaba, there lived a family of farmers and traders. Ukamaka and Oba were the proud parents of 3 boys, Ojadili, Nedu, and Carlo. Their modest lifestyle revolved around tending to their crops, selling their produce in the village market, and cherishing the simple joys of family life. The eldest of the 3 brothers, Ojadili, stood tall and dark-skinned, his eyes filled with ambition. After completing his university education, he found himself back in the village, helping his parents in their trade. However, fate had other plans for him when he stumbled upon a radio announcement about a scholarship opportunity. With determination in his eyes, he applied, and to his delight, he secured the scholarship, and that paved his way to the bustling city of Lagos. In Lagos, Ojadili juggled his studies with part-time work. He was striving to save enough money to fulfill his dream of traveling abroad. His hard work, however, paid off, and soon he found himself in a distant land far from the familiar sight and sound of his village. Yet, he remained connected to his family, sending them letters filled with tales of his adventures and promises of a brighter future. In one of his letters, Ojadili asked Carlo and Nedu to decide amongst themselves who will be the best person to join him in the next 6 months. They both agreed Nedu should go because he was the smartest and most industrious of the 3 brothers. True to his word, Ojadili extended a hand of opportunity to his younger brother, Nedu. With financial support and guidance, Nedu embarked on his own journey to join Ojadili abroad, leaving behind the comfort of home for the promise of new beginnings. As the years passed, the brothers thrived in their new environment, climbing the ladder of success with each passing day. Yet, amidst the bustling city life and the pursuit of dreams, their hearts remain connected to their roots in Asaba. Ojadili has achieved so much abroad, but that still leaves him feeling empty, as he felt the need to have a wife. Not only has he come of age, but he also needs a companion, one he would share secrets with, bear children with, and also create a beautiful life together. Also, he hadn't seen his parents since the scholarship he had, and from there he moved abroad. So he thought it would be a good opportunity to come back from abroad to his village in Asaba to look for a wife and also see his parents. He discussed with his brothers his intentions, and they also saw that as a good idea. After all, he had established himself to an extent. The next day came when he packed his bags and left for Lagos International Airport. From there, he headed to his village. His parents were very happy to see him after such a long time, although he wrote letters once in a while, but it wasn't the same as seeing him in person. He told them why he came back home, and they were very happy too because they were also thinking he should have brought home a girl as his wife. With his intentions made known, he was introduced to a couple of ladies who were marriage ready like himself, but he had several problems with them. He said Nkechi smiled too much, Akudo had a fat lap, Nenna's nose was too small, and so the list goes on. One day, as he was going to the market to help his parents sell their produce, he met Nnuego, who was just returning from the farm. They spoke for a while and they parted ways. Days later, Ojadili traced Nnuego to her father's house and they started to see each other. The passion between them intensified, and they would sometimes meet in his house, in a hotel, or in the farm to explore each other's body. Ojadili knew that the bond between them would last forever, so he thought to bring her to his parents as the woman he would like to get married to. When Ojadili brought Nnuego home to meet his family, they asked her a couple of questions and were very pleased with her responses and composure. In fact, they mentioned it to Ojadili that he has brought home a wife. After Nnuego had gone, Ojadili came back to his parents to discuss how to go about getting Nnuego for himself as his wife. He was shocked at his parents' response because despite their initial approval, his parents expressed concerns about Nnuego's future appearance, saying that she will start growing fat after she gives birth to one child. They asked him to think carefully and advised him to continue looking. Ojadili was so heartbroken. He knew his parents could not deceive him, as they were the only persons that he could trust in terms of advising him for a life partner. And so, he and Nnuego parted ways peacefully, although she didn't know what suddenly went wrong, but she understood it didn't work out. He traveled back abroad and found solace in the arms of his brothers, who stood by him through thick and thin. Together, they navigated the complexities of family and love, each forging their own path in search of happiness and fulfillment. As Ojadili tried to put himself together after his failed relationship, his brothers as well embarked on their own journeys of love and marriage. While Nedu defied his family's wishes as well to marry Shalewa, Kalu on the other hand thought it was time for him to also find love. He met a very beautiful girl on one of the dating websites and they started to talk. They spent several hours talking on the phone and it didn't take long for Kalu to fall in love with this lady. Kalu had started talking about marriage plans, discussing it with his brothers, and so the wedding bells were fast ringing. Ojadili, seeing this, thought it would be worth giving it a try to look for a wife one more time. Again, he headed back home to do so. Things got serious between Kalu and this lady, and Kalu announced to his parents that he was coming back home to get married as well. Since Ojadili was back home in the village, Kalu disclosed his intentions to come back and get married to the lady of his dreams. He begged him to help put things in place ahead of his return. It was at this point Ojadili realized that the lady of his brother's dreams, the woman he intends to spend the rest of his life with, is the same woman that he, Ojadili, had once had a thing with and in fact brought home to get married to her. On confirming who the lady is, Ojadili snapped back at his brother. "It will not work. You can't marry her. Do you remember the lady I told you that Mama and Papa said I cannot marry because she may get fat as soon as she gives birth to one child? That is the same lady, yes, Nnuego. You can't marry her," Ojadili said to Kalu. But it was already too late, as Kalu seemed to be deeply in love with Nnuego even without seeing her in person. The conversations they've had talking on the telephone is just enough for Kalu to decide exactly what he wants. And this was the actual beginning of the problem. Ojadili's attempt to intervene fell on deaf ears, as Kalu remained steadfast in his decision to marry Nnuego. Frustrated and pissed, Ojadili decided to take the matter to his parents, hoping to find a resolution to the impending taboo. Ojadili's parents all of a sudden became quite cold, as they no longer had the voice they had when they told him not to marry Nnuego. He tried to explain to them that he is not pained, but the fact that him and Nnuego had had a thing is a big taboo to bring her into the same family. As tensions reached a boiling point, Ojadili confronted his brothers, pleading for reason and understanding. But his efforts were met with strong resistance, as Kalu's newfound wealth clouded his judgment and fueled his determination to marry Nnuego. He tends to shut everyone who tries to become an obstacle up with money. Despite Ojadili's warnings and appeals to their sense of morality, his family remained divided, torn between tradition and the allure of value. With the fate of his family hanging in their balance, Ojadili faced his greatest challenge to stand up for what he believed in, even if it meant risking everything. Ojadili decided to confront Nnuego, thinking she may be reasonable enough to stop this whole madness. He told her she could take all she wanted from her brother. If it's money, anything, make him buy a house for her, but marriage will not work, reminding her that they have both had a thing in the past and how it will feel if she comes into the family as his wife, what it will hold for them both. He also mentioned to her that there will be no trust in the future, as once in a while, his brother may tend to doubt him due to the fact that they have both had something should he see them together. He asked her to think carefully and decide what to do next. Ojadili also brought together the Umunna of his clan. He explained to the respected elders the impending taboo that is about to happen. He told them that this needs to be stopped as it is an abomination in all sense of morality. They listened carefully to him and told him they were going to act. Again, Carlo, refusing to back down, shut everyone up with money, and they all continued to do his bidding. As the day of Carlo's wedding approached, Ojadili refused to back down. He was determined to prevent a union that is about to tear their family apart. With unwavering resolve, he decided to confront his brother one last time, pleading with him to reconsider his decision. In his usual way, Carlo offered Ojadili $10 million so he could forget all that had transpired between him and Nnuego. Ojadili quickly mentioned to him that it was not about the money, it was about the dangers that would arise in the future and eventually tear them apart as brothers. Anyways, the conversation didn't lead anywhere. Ojadili realized that there was nothing he could do at this point, but at least he tried his best to stop everyone. He made a fateful decision to sever ties with his brother and forge ahead on his own path. This brings chapter 1 of this story to an end. Would you allow your brother or sister to bring in a woman or man that you've had a thing to do with in the past? Comment your thoughts on this. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share the story with your family.